Regular and sincere meditation takes you into the field of bliss, peace that is never interruptible, joy that does not know any conditions, the joy, the exuberance that is limitless. All these things are possible because that is your true nature. Once you go deeper into the samadhi state, you realize there is a perpetual peace, perpetual state of bliss. And the reason it's perpetual, that it's not dependent on something that is transitory. We all were born with this bliss, with this innocence, with this love for all. And as we grew older, out of ignorance, we start attaching our happiness into these objects, people, or situations, because that's all we see. Even though we are born in a samadhi state, and that's the best time to know our own soul. But when we are child, we don't know how to. And in our previous life, we have never gone to the samadhi state, and we have never reached enlightenment, and that's why we are born again. So we are born with ignorance, but we still had our vrittis and vasanas hidden, and they start expressing as the proper environment comes in. And you won't even know until they express that you had them. It's like going to a town, a new town. A group of 15 people go to the new town. As soon as you go to the new town, each one will be seeking something else. If somebody is heavily into drinking, will be looking for a bar. Somebody who is religious will be looking for a temple. Somebody who is an art lover will be looking for museums. Somebody who is into running will be looking for a path for running. Same way, each child comes in with his or her own vrittis and vasanas and start expressing these vrittis and vasanas which he has been carrying for many lives. But once we realize the state of samadhi, we realize vrittis and vasanas are what makes us attach to different objects, different people, situations, with the wrong belief that we can get something out of this sansar. So our happiness, once it gets attached to an object, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sweets, unhealthy foods, or people, spouse, girlfriends, boyfriends, or situations, being famous, being recognized, etc. we attach our happiness to these objects, people and situations. And objects, people and situations are creations of nature, consciousness. So if the creation is done by some other entity, what choice do we have in their future? What right do we have in his operations? Yet we start exercising our rights, so-called rights, to hold on to these situations. A spouse dies and we are devastated. Parents die, we get devastated. Diabetes comes, we are upset, and we cannot stop loving the unhealthy foods. These are all examples of attaching ourselves to these situations, objects, and people. And because they have limited life, our happiness becomes limited. If the objects, people, or situation don't last long, our happiness also does not last long. And then absence of that happiness turns into suffering. We were betting on a wrong horse all along. So situations which are transitory brings the pleasure which is also transitory. So dhyan is a process through which we step out of this illusory life, realize that it is an illusion. There is a vast pool of consciousness which is present above and beyond the samsara. And in this situation, in this state, there are no transitory things. There are no opposites. So in this state, everything is absolute. Happiness is absolute. It never turns into unhappiness. Peace is absolute. Despite the noise going on outside, you will have peace within. Because the peace in the blissful state does not know the duality. This infinite state, there is no second, there is no opposite. You left the seconds, opposites, all these things in the transitory world. So now the transitory world operates on its own. Creation, maintenance, destruction, all this goes on, and all handled by consciousness. And you just stay out of it. You become an observer. You become part of this consciousness and just watch the drama of life. And now your peace and the bliss becomes infinite and unconditional. Your conditions you left behind when you were living the sansaric existence. So know the joy, know the bliss know the true happiness, and then that expresses itself in your day-to-day work, your dealings with people, with the joy, happiness you live, love, and you live peace, you live joy, and your life becomes an expression of your inner state, just like the flowers spread the fragrance, whether somebody is there to smell it or not. It is the nature of the flower to express itself. So be in that state without worrying about consequences. Then real synchronization starts happening between your soul, your thoughts, and your actions. In the beginning, when you start meditating, you will think and believe that the outside world and inside world are two separate things. But with the proper and regular meditation, you will realize there is nothing like outside or inside. It's all one process. The material world is solidification of spiritual energy, and your soul is the most delicate, most spiritual aspect of your existence. It's like ocean. At one end there is materialism, and another end is the spiritualism. So live in this world as a whole person, not connected, and enjoy the non-dual state and unconditional love, peace, joy for all. Have a good day.